definitely make a change to that, because initially this were very few of them. Later on, things were, modified. So this has gone through a lot of iterations. I mean, that's like, large number of
GSCJ.
iterations. Yep.
Okay.
Hmm.
So this is a crop 360, right?
I'll give you a little background, I guess. We were focusing totally on hemp for Texas and then for like other states. And
Okay.
when we kind of realized our tracking could be used for like other crops. And so we've actually been working on implementing, well, adding the ability to do other crops. So some of the stuff was just designed for hemp at this time.
Okay.
I think there's to answer your question directly, the intention was that the farmer section there would be for crop 360. And then if you click on like transporter or sampler, those would be for road 360, though I don't think that the background information for those apps have been uploaded currently, but the design was, I think, supposed to implement the whole system. Am I correct on that, Naveen, Dave?
Yes.
Okay, so this website functions a lot better than all right.
So once you are registered, then you can click on login, and I'll just log in with the newly created account. What you see here is brief intro sections about how many members or consultants are present, how many farms you have, and how many farm lots you have. The moment you create an organization, we assume the organization is having one farm. Like a farm is like a company within the organization. So here, if you are a part of multiple organizations, you'll see list of all the organizations that you can switch to. So for example, if I am a consultant, right, then I may be associated with multiple organizations. Then if I want to see the data pertaining to a certain organization, then I can switch the organization from here. Okay, so here you can see all the farms that have been. So right now it's one default farm, which is the branch that we created at the time of registration. Okay, and there are no farm lots. And these farm lots are created from the mobile apps, right? So basically, this is acting as a read-only dashboard for you. I'll show these screens and other functionality from a different account. Right now, I'm just walking through all these, items that are available to you from the dashboard. I'll demo the farms on a different account, so you can see. This is where the seeds information go, and if you have a specific seed, not a generic one, you can definitely use the plus screen to add yours. Okay.
So these are seeds that I have or I am planning on using, etc.
No, this
right?
is master. This is master. This is like the seeds that you could utilize. It's our own master database, right? It has
Okay, so you provide this to all customers.
Absolutely, yes. And I think this information is carried when you create a farm lot in the mobile application. At that time, you are allowed to create, select a seed.
So where did you get this data from then?
Someone needs to take care of that answer. Sorry.
So Will and Nathan worked on the seed database. They got the seed. They classified all the seeds.
Okay, so I know what germination rate is. I don't know what fem rate is. Cannabinoids make sense that how much cannabinoid it has in it. What's fem rate?
Feminization rate is a CBD determination.
Okay.
For that particular type of plant, it's dioecious. So they need solely female plants in order to make the flower which produces the cannabinoids. So that's why fem rate is pretty much important just for the cannabis industry.
Okay. And COA?
Certificate of authority, something like that. At the time of creating a seed, you can upload any certification for the seed, and that's something
We showed you some. We showed you COAs in the last session.
it's dummy actually right now. But
So these are seeds that are used in the industry, is what we're saying, right? So they're widely available. The data for them is widely available. I'm assuming that's why this is all
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay,
mean,
right.
I collected it. I wouldn't say necessarily all that it's best available, but this is the data that is publicly available.
Okay, great. So I could just select a seed when I'm planting a farm. Okay, go ahead.
yeah. So and then we have labs information. Right now, I think there's no specific data in the database, but it's basically generic information where you can get your stuff certified. So you can have those lab information added here. So that's about all the farm related stuff. Then we have the members. So this is like how many members you have within your organization. It's like your employees. And then this is like if you have hired some consultants and they have joined your organization, then they will end up here. Okay, so these are your employees and these are your consultants. Okay. And lastly, we have metric integration. So here I can go and add, metric API key. So for my company.
Okay. We have to explain these keys before.
Okay.
We get into this. So basically, Metric is a third-party company. Metrics M stands for marijuana. The M in Metric stands for marijuana. So what they have done is, right, first you write an exam, you write a test and it makes you a vendor. You have to answer some questions, take a test, then they make you a vendor. Once you're a vendor, now we are a vendor, like we in sense Global Smart Commodities is a vendor. So farmers can give their API keys. So for example, in our case, John was a farmer, so John gave his API key. And we are adding his API key here. So we can see all the John's lots stuff he has created using Metric. So we have integrated that API. Yeah, this is the John's, all the stuff that John created. And you can see all the facilities, harvest, all that stuff from Metric. Yeah.
Where did this come from? Like, where did this screen come from?
Where did this what come from?
Yeah, like the metric screens, like we were like, can you go back to the other interface that we were at?
Oh yeah, sure.
Just to let you know.
No, I mean, okay. So how did you get from here to there? Oh, okay. This is, you hit the get?
Yeah, I hit this get. So
what is get supposed to mean?
So, okay, hold on. So Metric, right? Based on the keys. So here we have a farmer has two sets of keys. One is the keys to read the data. Another key is to write and update the data. So get is read. Instead of get, we should have had it read there. It's just a label change. So read means you can read all the information of a farmer using that read key. That's what that means.
Okay.
Let's step back one
so
step.
this is all read operations that you perform on various things. You cannot do any modifications when in this.
Let's just step back one step.
Yeah.
Metric is for marijuana. Many states have been, the farmers of many states have been forced to use Metric because the state says, hey, you need to track your marijuana plants with the Metric system. You can actually, vendors can actually integrate with their system and display data and stuff from.
No, that part I'm familiar with. You're integrated with Metric. You're using an API key. I understand that. You're using a get call on the web server to get the data. Right. I get that too. Okay, so that I understand. Okay, so now this is all. Now, why is this all a different user interface?
This was just a proof of concept that we are able to connect successfully, make all the API calls. How we want to present this is still pending. So this is like, just to let you know that, okay, these are all the possible actions that can be performed. It's more like a POC only, a rough POC that we are able to achieve things with what we had. this still needs to be polished. I mean, a lot of things are required to be done here. But it's like how we want to present things. We still need to define that portion.
This is still better than the Metrics UI. If you look at Metrics UI, somebody's going to jump off the roof.
Okay. Can you go back to the get section, and actually I'll take a look at Metric and see what they've got. Okay, can you go through this and show me what you've got in your POC?
Right. So it's just a list of all the APIs.
No. Explain Dave. Can you just explain? Actually, Nathan can do it. All the stages they have, like harvesting, facilities, labs, all the stages. Can somebody explain that? So this is very similar to the system we have right now. So they move the plant across different stages. Then they do harvesting, but they have gone a step further. Like once you do, and they have a concept called patients. Patient is a guy who receives the marijuana product, and there's also a sales section. There's also a sales section which we don't have. Sales is a section where you can list the customer types and people get a receipt for the marijuana product they purchased. So these are the extra stuff which we don't provide, which Metric has. Everything else is very similar. The concept of packages, facilities is like one step ahead. Like you grow a marijuana plant in a facility, then you package it. Then you can also batch the plants together, which are similar.
Can you go to facilities? Facilities is farm in your world, right?
No, this facility is actually a place where the plant is getting.
It's a processing facility. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a facility.
So where's like farm? Like where's farm level data here?
So the farm level data. So you have plants, right? The plants is the farmland. The plant and the plant batches is where, which is similar to. Can you go to plants and plant batches? Yeah, that is your.
This is farm lot. Plant batches is farm lots, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is all that.
The thing is, the Metric assumes that everything is like most of the stuff is indoor. Like you have these plants which is indoor, so they use term facility. Because it's mostly indoor, you have those lights, blue lights, whatever, for growing the marijuana plants, right? So that is the reason it is more indoor here.
Okay, so this doesn't really work. Okay, so what else do you have that's working in this integration or
so this is
proof
like
of concept?
Depending on the API access that has been provided.
This is because of the data. I mean, if John doesn't have data, it won't show anything here.
Yes, I typed in the chat, but just want to note that John's company is a processing company, not a farming or a production company. They take plants and they process them into concentrate, and that's the extent of what he does. And he never provided any other API keys for any other users to further test products. So that one's on John.
Okay, can you go to Metric? Just go to the login for Metric. You were showing me the Metric login, right? So go ahead and log in.
I don't have credentials for this. Maybe Naveen, can you, or someone who has access to this, show this UI?
Can we see this at the end, because I have to search for it's there in the.
Okay. Let's park this for the end. Let's park this for the end. Metric
okay. UI. So can you go back to? Okay. All right.
Yep.
So now the objective of using Metric here is to integrate, if you've got a large number of farms, that's my understanding. And it's very difficult to work with Metric if you've got a large number of farms. You got the same number of people and you've got a large number of farms. That's the reason why we're supposed to be developing this product, right?
No, actually, okay. So Metric, right? They don't have a mobile app. So they take the laptop with them through the entire facility to enter the data. So what we thought originally was, what we were told by the global management was, let's build an app which will input data into Metric also through the mobile app.
Yeah,
so we were changing our mobile app to enter data into Metric directly using the Metric API.
Yes, and Sanjeev, you're right. They wanted some way to organize or take care of the 1,500 different farms as well, because obviously you don't want to log into each individual one just to look up maybe if they're doing things correctly. So that was the plan. But from my understanding, the metric thing might not even happen now, from what John said in the last meeting. I guess metric might be having a lot of issues with Oklahoma, or Oklahoma might be having a lot of issues with metric, I should say. So yeah, this whole thing might be in limbo.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand the business objective, first of all, of what you guys are doing. And number two, I'm trying to understand how you're implementing that so you can achieve the big business objective, right? So now, I'm sorry, go ahead.
In all honesty, we didn't want to kind of deal with metric. I think our company really wanted to find a way to make revenue. So we've been asked to do, I think I'm going to talk about this more at the end, but we've been asked to do a lot of things that were not really in our core that we were supposed to, we came in to do. Okay. But I talked more about that at the end.
Okay. So let's just let's forget about this whole metric thing. Let's stick to what is the core of what you guys are doing. Number one, which is a bunch of lots. Okay, what do you have growing in the lots? How do you test what you have growing in the lots? So if you can demo that to me, that would be great.
Yes. Before that, just one last point. So if I am an organization and I have a bunch of companies, I can click here and add a new company. Okay, that is one option. So I can go ahead and add as many of my companies from here. The second option is I go to a member and I say that, okay, I want to invite a new member, right, to join my company as an employee or a consultant, and that person gets the email with this particular code, and they will be able to then join my organization. Okay, so that's the other pending feature.
I guess I'm trying to, okay, I'm a farmer, I'm just logging in, right? I just logged in for the very first time. Okay, I'm gonna, I'm assuming that there's some farm level information that you're going to ask me to enter for you. So
basically, right? Yeah, the farm level information is this enrollment code that you see here. This
enrollment code.
Yep, this QAFKC9XD, that's an enrollment code. So if
what do I have to do with an enrollment code?
Right. So let's assume that I am just a sec. So let's assume that I am an organization. You are a farmer. I need to give you this enrollment code for you to join my organization as a farmer. Okay, as a company.
What if I'm an independent farmer? I'm not part of your organization.
Then you need to create an organization. You have to just register like we did initially. You just go and register yourself, and then you start from there.
That's what I thought I did. Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah, but if you are, let's say, a bigger organization, you are creating your initial organization login, and now you want to invite all the farmers that are working for you, then this is where you need to give them the enrollment code and you need to invite. So let's say
I'm just me. I got 10 acres. All right. So what do I got to do? Forget anybody else.
So if you're just doing this for personal, you're not a part of an organization, you just need to register like we did here, and then download the app and start creating your farm lots. As simple as that. Nothing else.
Oh, so this web interface doesn't do any of that. Now I got to go to the web to the app.
Crop. Yes, Crop 360 app and start working with farm lots there. This is.
Well, where does it tell me I got to go to Crop 360 app now?
Oh, that's in the very first welcome screen.
Where? I didn't see it.
We have this icons here. What things were? Yeah, tracks everything, including lab tracks and all this stuff. Right. We don't have any,
what do these icons
download
do
links
here?
and all. This is just bunch of features that we are showing. It's not the end goal was to have this link to individual apps or whatever the site or things were planned for development. So this
How long
is
did you
like,
guys spend working on this website?
it started long ago
No, it was there
for 2
before.
months, but
No,
after that there was a pause. Yeah, sorry.
No, the app was there. This was there before we integrated with GSCG. Before we
So,
got
I mean, this is all I see here. It's just a registration screen. And then you've got this metric stuff, which doesn't really work, right? I mean, that's all I see here. Is there anything else
no.
here?
So let's say if I go here, say,
How did I get to this part now? Okay, so there's the members. Wait,
yep.
can you go back to where that was?
So I logged in with a different account. Okay, this time I logged in with a different account, which has association with multiple.
Oh, so I can't
organizations.
create the fields in here, but I can see them. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely, absolutely. You can see that, okay, this is in seed phase, whatever the stage photos are, whatever the notes are, but all this interaction is done from the Android or the iOS app, and you can have it seen here. Basically,
Well, how
a farmer
somebody's
does this
supposed to
upload and
know that this is how it's supposed to work?
we need to educate them. I mean, so there has to be, a front-end site basically, which is going, because this is a very back-end admin portal, right?
So we have marketing. No, we have a marketing team. Global has a marketing team, and also Nathan does some training for the users who get onboarded. So there's a big team for all that.
There is?
Yeah, there is a sales team which was doing all this.
You've got an app. Why can't you educate people here? Why can't you tell them, oh, this is what this thing does, this is what it does, and this is what it doesn't do, and this is what you got to do. This is your next step.
Yeah, we welcome your input.
You buy a new phone, it tells you what to do, right? Hey, you got to do this. Here's how you do your data migration. Here's what the new features are. Here's how you use your stylus on here. Here's this, here's that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
this is how it has
we will do whatever it takes, Sanjeev.
And this is how it has progressed. I mean, this has gone through so many iterations. Every time we have incorporated feedbacks from external sources that this is what they want, this is how they want to interact, this is what they want to do, stuffs like, have stage photos, have comments. All these stuffs were not present initially. This was added up from a lot of
feedback. Can I do sampling over here, or does that work from the app?
Sampling would be an app. I'll give a demo. That'll be the second demo.
So I think, Dave, you can start with that.
Actually, hold on. Go ahead. Click on one of these. Can you go back to the screen that we were at just a second ago?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. It wasn't this lot. I think it was this one. Yeah. Can you see?
Yeah, I don't understand. Okay, so what am I looking at here? So I've got so many tall plants, so many small plants, so many medium plants. Okay, I remember this interface with the 2 dots on the web app, right? And then sample 5, sure. Okay, so these are the samples that I have. Height of 0, diameter of 0, and length of. Let me ask you something. What is the difference between height and length?
Nathan, would you like to respond to that?
I think that came in with Will's input at one point, but from my understanding, the height is like from the ground to the top of the plant. The diameter is the diameter of the stalk, and the length is maybe the length of the branches from stalk to the outer edge. That's the only way I can really make that determination.
Okay, can you go past this?
Yep.
Okay. Are any of the seed growth, any of that stuff, do any of those buttons work?
Which one? Which ones?
Um, you know, can you go back into the lot data? Yeah. And can you go into the growth stage and hemp lab or do any of that stuff?
I don't think we have any. So in this particular farm, I don't, because all of them are in the very initial stage only. Let me see if I can find another.
Choose one with a lab stage. It should show you multiple lots.
Let's see.
And that was not
No.
gonna. You gotta choose one that's in like a lab stage or a growth stage.
Right, right. These are all seed stages. Yeah.
Guys, do you know what the average age of a farmer in this country is?
Like 60.
It's closer to like 65. There's a lot of farmers that are like 80 years old.
Yeah, so marijuana is exactly opposite. Marijuana is young people.
Right, there we have. So it was in seed stage, and then it died. So it moved to death stage. These stage were never activated. That's how this thing works.
What do you mean they were never activated?
Like from the app, it was initially created as a seed stage, and then directly added the next stage as the death stage. Not any of these. Right so it's like I initially created a farm lot. I entered the seed stage information. Then the next update, I'm directly saying that okay, it died, like that. It never went into growth stage or any other stages. So that's why these are disabled.
Okay.
This is one. Let me see if I can find another. This one. No, it doesn't have. Oops. Button.
Most of these are just test.
Exactly. Most of them are tests. Most of them are tests.
Okay, what is this? This is stage photos. Can you go back to that screen?
Oh, I think it was metal forms. So multiple stage photos are present and on different dates, basically. We have different data.
Yeah, but you have photos on the one. Okay, so you could put photos or you can put data about samples. Is that that?
Exactly. On a particular date, you can either input photos or you can input data, like that.
Those are from John's farm last year, I believe. So all of these, you're in the growth stage currently, is that right? Like these were all put in as like a vegetative or flowering stage, but now they're all
Yes.
under. Is that correct?
Yes. This one doesn't have any. Yeah.
Okay, now the backend database for this, is this all running on Fire?
This is on Cosmos. This is on Cosmos. We are
So all of
working
this on Cosmos. So what was the
Yes.
problem with Cosmos? I mean, you guys say that it was too slow, right?
I wouldn't say
Naveen,
slow.
can you take?
It was
Yeah. So
expensive, and we were aligning with Global and trying to use Google backend to integrate with Salus.
okay, so there are two things here. First thing is Salus uses Google products, so we have to migrate to Google. Second thing is Azure. The billing is very high for us. It's right now we'll save some money on Azure billing, and eventually the roadmap is to move everything to Google because of UCX being on Google. Google. That is our goal here. So we are doing it slowly. We're migrating step by step, and we want to remove much dependency from Azure.
My understanding is that what you said was that this is too slow.
That is true. That is true. Azure is slow on the mobile apps. It is very slow. It is comparatively slow. Google products are much faster on the mobile apps. That is the main reason. And also, there are certain components. Say, for example, the authentication component, the two-factor auth. We're all using Google products for that. Only the database we are using Azure. So, which is so it's very prudent to move to Google, and we'll have one billing just for UCX, and as well as for Google, we'll have just one billing if we move to Google. So that is the main advantage. Right now, you have two different bills.
Okay. Okay, can you continue, please?
Yep. So I think that pretty much covers the web dashboard portion. So maybe Dave, you can now take up the demo for the mobile app.
Okay. All right. On the left side is Crop 360. On the right side is Road 360. Gonna kind of show you some interactions they can have together. In Road 360, you have your little home screen here, and it tells you kind of the status of your work. I think that as I go along, I think it will become a little more clear. But you got your transit. These are all the tasks that you're going to do or have upcoming. At the moment, there's none. You have your map, which that little truck basically shows you where you are, and it will also show you like lab locations if you select labs. So you can see like there's a lab.
Can you go back to the other screen?
Of the
Just the one with the check boxes, yeah. Your location specific. Okay, what is this all about?
This is allows you to filter the map. So if you don't want to see yourself on the map, you can actually uncheck it, and there you are not on the screen anymore. So it also gives different options, like if you want to. Oops. If you want to, I don't know, see 25 miles for the radius, you can do that. If you don't want to see all the labs and you just don't want to see the labs that you're currently going to interact with, you can just take that off. If you don't want to see any labs, you can just do that. So it gives you a bunch of options on the view.
Always return center on you. Okay, all lab locations. Okay, all right.
So. All right. This is a history tab, and this tells you the jobs that you've done in the past. You have an option to do different start and end dates, and to do different things. Let's say you only want to see what lab tested ones. That would only show you that. If you want to see them ones that you've mailed, you'll see that. So if I take that off, you're not going to see anything. So if you go back there, you can see that I've mailed one to the lab, and it's currently in the mail. And then you have your profile tab, which gives you your basic functionality that you can, switch companies or some settings and a bunch of other options. You can change your address and stuff like that. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna add a new stage. I'm gonna add a lab stage. So
why do you guys, let me ask you a simple question. Why do you guys put these buttons so that they're off the screen?
Which button? Which one is that?
Can you go back?
No, that's not a. That is just a scroll. That's how it is. It's a scroll view.
Yeah,
There's a
but why
horizontal
would
scroll
you
view.
why would you do this if you've got
That is a
plenty
mobile
of
design. Okay, we can talk about mobile design in another session. Can we finish the thing we want to show you, please, Sanjeev?
Yeah,
Please,
we
because
can
quite a lot.
definitely do that.
And then we can answer questions.
I mean, yeah,
Can he finish? He has been preparing this
Yeah,
all
go
night.
ahead.
Yeah, please
I mean-
give him some respect. He has been doing this all night.
Naveen, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously, we could do other UI things here if you wanted to. So
Okay.
I'm going to click back on that. I'm going
Okay,
to
go ahead.
do a request, and then a time, and then I'm going to select a lab. I'm just going to select. Let's do Sante. That actually self with me.
Let me ask you something. What is with the lab selection? Like, what is the criteria for selection, right? Like, why would you select lab A versus lab B?
So generally, right, lab charges some money for everything. For every test, there's some money being charged. So you can select the lab based on the location, distance from your crop, either the distance or the money. You can also do subscription. Suppose you're subscribed to a lab for a year, so they will give you lower rates. So
Yeah, exactly, right? It's like picking gas stations, right? So
yeah, so it's just flexibility.
I look at gas stations on my phone and I go, oh yeah, this one's $4.22 and this one's $4.08. But the guy that's $4.08 is too far away, so I'm not going to bother. So I mean, how do I select a lab here based upon price or distance, right? So I mean, you've just got a list of labs here, right? So there's no selection criteria. Right?
We'll take the feedback. We'll take your feedback, Sanjeev. Can we just continue with this?
Yeah, I mean, we could like organize it by distance, or we need a resource to gather like prices and stuff like that. If we wanted to do that, someone would have to go to the labs and do that. We just haven't had the resources.
I mean, you've got the addresses for the labs, right? So, okay, so you've got the distance. You just don't have the pricing, correct? You guys did some lab integration. That much I know, but I think it's only been done with one lab, correct? But I don't think it was price level integration. It was simply order of the tests.
Well, basically, we had it so once it arrived at the lab, they'd use Lab 360. They would accept the package, and then it would go directly into their system. All the data would go into the system. Once their system was finished and actually the tests were completed, it would actually send back that data to our system. All the raw data of like all the different tests and especially the THC level.
Okay.
So I'm gonna confirm sampler. So, and then I'm gonna click 2, and we will add this lab stage. All right, so let's go back here. And there, it pops into my list of tasks. Now, I'm going to go to that farm with Road 360, and the farm is going to display this QR code. So I'm going to scan the QR code, and it has been scanned. So that
Nope.
means
We moved from step
So
two.
if I hold on, let me scan this QR code. Like, what am I gonna get from this QR code?
this tells
You
you
have to use an app. You have to use that app to scan the QR code. You'll get just a bunch of string.
yeah, you just get a bunch of strings that won't make a lot of sense. This will tell you which lot. Suppose I had to go to that farm and I had to scan multiple not scan, but collect samples of multiple lots. So I could do that.
2022 JNFYA. Okay, so you got, I don't know, is this a base 64 or what is the data in here? Dave 70 Farmer LLANX MG2. So I mean, is this a lab that's done an integration with me, or what are they going to get off of this QR code?
So okay, it will tell the driver which lab he has to go to pick up the sample or deliver the sample based on the.
I don't understand why you guys just don't do a URL over here that provides a lot of detail. You know, either in a text format or an XML or a JSON format, so this could be easily, you know, ingested by a lab or anybody really.
This QR code has the ID of the farm and the lot and the organization ID. Actually, the company ID, the farm lot, and the organization ID.
Yeah, but this, I mean, is there an expectation that the lab will integrate with you based upon this QR code, or like what?
Well, the lab has to do a lot of manual entry. Once like an order form comes in with like paper, there's a lot of manual entry that could potentially have errors if someone messes up something. So adding the data, giving them the data electronically is kind of
I mean, I agree with you on the giving them the data electronically. All I'm trying to ask you is like, how is this getting me the data electronically?
This is giving
So the lab. No, hold on.
Well, this is not the lab part yet. This is giving the sampler the right location to start taking its samples. The samples haven't been taken yet.
Okay, so if I have a phone and I'm the sampler walking around the farm to get a sample, like I scan this code and what's going to happen?
This step 3 out of 5 will appear. So basically, it verifies that you're at the farm and who scanned the farmer's QR code. So actually, you can see the farmer can actually go on his app and see that step 3, basically this whole process in step 3.
Can you scan this code with your second phone, and what is it? I mean, is it integrated with your own app yet?
Yes, I just scanned with a Road 360. I scanned this QR code right there.
Oh, okay. So this is the code that you just scanned, right?
Yes, and this step increased to step 3 out of 5.
Okay. So then, okay.
Show the data.
I know. Okay, so it shows me that I'm at Great Dave's Grandiose Farm. Okay, great. But where does it tell me that I gotta go to a specific spot, or what do I gotta do?
Well, the farmer's going to let you know what lot he wants tested. You're going to be right next to him, and he's going to say, "Hey, this is the lot I need to have tested."
Yeah, but then what's the purpose of the QR code? If the guy has to tell you anyway, then why are you even bothering with the QR code?
It's to verify that these samples are coming from his farm. It's more of a security thing than, just the sampler going out and just getting some samples that he knows are going to be, good. The THC level is going to be lower than 3%.
I would also say that it prevents a lot of manual entry. Dave, can you click on the stage itself? It should give you the data, right? It tells you where it came from and where it's going, if I remember right.
Well, I mean, on Road 360, you mean?
Yeah, on the Road 360 to the right.
Well, yeah. You click on that, and it's basically going to tell you that you need to take 2 cuttings for the samples that the farmer wanted.
That's state mandated, Sanjeev, for the sample or requirements.
Okay, Dave, just continue. Dave, can you continue?
Okay, go ahead.
Can you just continue with the cutting?
It's not the process that I don't understand. It's the user interface that doesn't I'm like. Okay,
Yeah, it's
but
been,
go
okay,
ahead.
Sandeep, it's been a problem for you since a couple of days. That's fine. We agree with you.
That's fine.
Yeah, let's continue.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to take a cutting.
Okay.
I'm going to say cut one. And I'm going to go take a picture of what I'm going to cut. I'm going to actually I'm going to cut this plant and I'm going to take a picture of my cutting.
Mm-hmm.
So I will save that. So we've taken one cutting out of two. I'm going to take.
So have you confirmed that there's a geolocation tag on the photo?
Yes, the timestamp and as a geolocation has been taken.
How can I tell where it's been taken from? Like how does this thing indicate that this is a location that it's been taken from?
It's being saved in the database.
Okay, but it's not visible anywhere that this is a location where I'm at.
No, you to show a latitude and longitude.
I mean, how do you know that I'm where I am? I mean, how do you know that I'm even at this farm? Like I mean, okay, you've taken the tag, that's fine, but I could be 50 miles away. Like, is it going to produce an error for me?
No, if you're 50 miles away, your latitude and longitude will be 50 miles away. So
I understand that the photo will say that this is, that's you're right, but I mean, is the app going to tell me, hey, this is not the right location?
Doesn't it? I don't think it does that particularly, but I do think it shows the cuttings on the map that Dave showed you earlier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where is it on the, like, where on the map is it, like, where's the map?
I'll get to that in a moment. I'm going to add another cutting. Cut two. Take another picture. Save it. And okay, I've taken my two cuttings. I'm going to record I'm going to put these cuttings in a bag and I'm going to record myself doing that. So I'm recording myself putting it in a bag and I'm going to save the video. And we've gone to step 4 now. It is it's in transit to the lab. There's a setting where we can save the location.
Wait, how did this suddenly, I just took the cutting. How did it become on transit to the lab? Like what?
Because
okay,
we took a video of you putting it in a bag and sealing up the bag.
Where did we take the video? Like when?
That's what he was doing just a second ago with the record back.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right.
So you take the pictures of the cuttings before and after the picture, and then you record the bag sealing, which is there's like in Texas at least, there's a bag where you can seal it up for samples to send. And then from there, he can either transport it manually and take it and it takes the pins, or he can put it in the mail. So that's nice.
Well, I could have UPS pick it up, right? So is there any integration with a shipping company that says, I mean, UPS integration, for example, are very easy. Like, do you have any kind of integration that says, all right, the truck driver will come by and pick it up today or tomorrow or whatever?
We do not at this time. No. I mean,
okay, so in transit to lab, so I have to manually create a label and get a shipping company to come by and deal with it, right?
Well,
or the lab is like, how do I?
Oftentimes, the user of the road app will be the shipping company. The samplers typically take them by hand.
So it's like DoorDash. The DoorDash employee will come. So the road app is the employee who does this. So DoorDash is like a private shipping company, right? They send products from the restaurant to your home. So just like that.
Somewhat, yeah.
You mean the Sante Laboratories is going to pick up the sample?
They might have some samplers that they have hired, or it could be an independent sampling company that does it.
Oh,
So
the
there
other
are-
thing is, okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Who was speaking?
Dave, can you continue, please?
No, hold on for a second. Okay, for the samples, the other thing I want to know is there a time requirement, you know? So some samples, I would imagine you got to ship right away. Others you can wait a day.
Yeah, it's 24 hours because the sample will get spoiled, right? The 24 hours is what we was told. So generally, generally the lab and the farm is in the same city. It's not a different city. It is just in 50-mile or 100-mile radius.
Yeah, but if I want, okay, so if it's within 24 hours, then okay, let's say I'm a farmer. I want my specimen cut tomorrow, right? I'm going to specify that today. I'm going to specify that the shipping company needs to come by tomorrow at whatever time. I can't do this at the last second, right? Because the shipping company needs to know a day ahead of time that I got to come by at such and such time to pick up the sample. If my sampler is going to go out there at 9 in the morning, that's fine. And then the shipping guy can come by at somewhere between 1 to 5 and pick it up. That would work fine. So I got to organize this like a day ahead of time. Like how do you, is there any way to do this? Like, all right.
See, that's the second thing is, see, with the growth, we are tracking the growth cycle also. So we know when the plant will be fully grown. We are tracking the growth cycle. We know how many
I'm
days it
simply
takes.
talking about sampling it. Okay, so whether or not it's fully grown is meaningless. The question is, I'm taking a sample right now.
So if you see this screen, right, he's able to schedule it for tomorrow. Right, he's able to schedule this. If you see
Yes,
this-
but I have to schedule yes, you're scheduling your sampler to take the thing, but then the shipping company has to be scheduled tomorrow also, right?
I mean, usually it sounds, from what I understand, it sounds like that I think initially when we thought this this would work was that each
So it's
sample
like this.
goes directly to the lab. But
No, hold on.
they're
So
gonna-
originally, right?
yeah.
Originally we followed the Uber model, right? In Uber, when the Uber was originally designed, it was instantaneous. Like you call a Uber cab, even if you're going to airport tomorrow, you call the Uber cab 15 minutes in advance. You don't schedule that I want to go tomorrow. When the Uber was done, now you can do it.
Yeah, well, that's not how UPS works, right? That's not how any of these companies work.
Well, you could go to the UPS store and just drop it off there.
Yeah, but I'm in the middle of nowhere. There's no UPS store anywhere like within 100 miles of me.
When this was made, actually UPS and FedEx don't ship hemp. They still think it's marijuana, so like they won't ship it. The only people who would actually ship it is SPS. And so
Okay.
most of the samplers are doing it directly from farm to lab because of the industry that they're in. The hemp industry is overly regulated and its requirements are almost too strict. If we were to talk about trying to take other plant or samples from different crops, that would require some sort of a different design, I guess.
Okay.
Dave, can you click on step 4, the top one?
Yes. I'm going to just do the mail drop off. Basically, you write you get a code, and you're going to write this on the package. So when the lab gets it, they can just use this code to put it into the system if they're using a Lab 360 app. So I'm going to check this box, which kind of verifies that I wrote it on the package, and then I'm going to send a specimen by mail. And
So I'm not printing a label or anything like that.
No, you just need to write an 8-digit or 8-character code on the package, and at the lab they can just enter that 8-character code and get into their system.
No, we can print it also. We can print it also. It's not in the. We have not integrated that. We can do that using API, the print API.
Well, yeah, then you have to have a printer and
Yeah, we have not done that.
stuff like that. Well, I mean, the sampler might not want to have then you'd be forcing the samplers to buy additional equipment. So
they have all this equipment because they just you can't not have this type of, like a label printer. Anybody that does shipping in any quantity has a label printer. Even I print labels. Like if I need to ship stuff back for Amazon, even you want to ship stuff back an RMA, you print the label on there.
Oh, I think
Now, of course, they've got a process where you drop it off at the UPS store, etc., and they'll take care of it for you. But for a lot of RMAs, for a lot of vendors, you print the label.
I think that's a fair point.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's something we could do in the future. I mean,
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you for your
Good
feedback.
point.
Thank you for your feedback, Sanjeev. Yeah.
all right. So you saw that after I mailed, I put it into the mail. Somehow we put it in the mail. It vanished off my task list.
Mhm.
And if I go here, lab samples were mailed to lab. So it tells you that they're currently in the mail. If you go to the history, you can see that I just mailed it to the lab just recently. There's
Wait, hold on. Mailed. Why are there two of them showing up here?
oh, this is a previous one. This was another one I did.
Lots.
No, yesterday he was working yesterday to get everything
Okay.
in order.
So yeah, that was
Okay.
the one on the bottom was on 8/18/2022, and this one was 8/9/2022. So
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dave, for doing this.
Okay.
You know why? Okay. Why are you guys doing a display like this? I could have 50 samples that I mail to a lab, right? And then, having these boxes like this, I could be, I mean, if I'm a farmer and I'm close to Sante Laboratories, I'm going to use Sante, right? So, but I want to see on a table in a tabular format, like, okay, these are all the labs I sent. Oh yeah, when did I send the, one last month? Okay, let me take a look at that one because there's like some information out of that one that I need.
Yeah, sure. We can change the UI, whatever you want.
yeah, I mean, we could have a way.
UI takes only 4 hours, 4 to 6 hours to complete the UI.
Yeah,
that's
like
what we can-
you said, we could have like a way to have like a screen like this for filtering out labs and stuff. I mean, yeah, that'd take up maybe a day or so. So
Nathan, what were the problems you mentioned that there were problems using the system? Like, what did people report back to you? Like you were using it at a farm and then it stopped being used. Like, what were some of the issues that they ran into?
So are you talking about this particular app, or do you want to talk in general? Like, what do we?
In general, whatever. Yeah.
So can you talk about the Crop 360, the main app, which you worked on, which you and Will were working on in the field testing?
Yeah. So with one of the particular test fields that we went out to check out multiple times, he was having trouble with going offline versus online. He didn't have a good signal to upload his data.
Can I just say something quickly about that? That person had such a bad internet connection that he'd have trouble just sending a picture in a text message. So our app actually can go offline and save data. And then once it gets back online, it'll send the data. The issue was that it was online, but the data was so bad that, I mean, the connection was so bad that you couldn't do anything. So that was
welcome to rural America. It's like a normal thing.
No, it happened with it happened with Sanjeev's phone also, right? And on the day one, right, we sent so many text codes to Sanjeev's phone, and he was able to receive after only 5 minutes. So it is happening. So we cannot. Can you continue?
Nathan, what were the other issues that?
Yeah, so that was one of the main ones when I was first introducing it to people. When talking about like the UI with the squares on the different lots to scroll, and recognizing that after you create a lot, you got to click into it to be able to start adding the stages. And so there was a learning process to be able to get to how to navigate from adding the details to one lot to another. Some of the others didn't understand the whole process to every time you want to add a growth stage, you had to go into the particular lot, and you could add multiple growth stages to a lot instead of just like doing one and then editing that particular stage. And so that led to overwriting some data initially. So that was sort of one of the main feedbacks on the Crop 360. With the transportation, we didn't have the full integration with a lot of labs. We did have it with one, and so we were able to do a successful transfer of data from one lot to the lab and get the data sent out. But that was tabled in August of last year, basically when I jumped over to GSCG full time.
Okay, what was tabled last year? I'm sorry.
The connection with the lab that it's New Bloom Labs. They have a back end system, and so the whole thing was for them to collect the data from their farms, for them to get all of this data internalized and not have to manually enter it. It requires teaching each of the farmers to use the app, and then teaching the samplers to go pick it up. And so there was a little bit of a learning process there that from like the business analytics side that we didn't quite accomplish well.
Yeah, I can totally see it with this app, because this app honestly makes no sense to me at all. Like I would never be able to figure this out in a million years. Like what's to be done here? Like it makes, you'd have to show this to me. Like you'd have to show it to anybody and everybody who has to use this thing like over and over and over again to get anything done. I would agree with that assessment. But anyhow, okay, so guys, please continue.
I guess for the most part, I think I'm done with this demo. It's just yeah.
Can you show the samples on the map, Dave?
Guys, what?
The samples you just took, can you show them on a map?
I don't. That this is an old. Actually, this is a old version, and that is probably not working at this time. Yeah. So,
can you show what on the map? I'm sorry.
The samples themselves, like you were talking about at one point, the ability to differentiate between where a sample was taken if you were to do like a recall. Those samples were GPS located, so that information's in the back end of the database. Being able to bring those forward and put them on the map. I know I'd seen it before.
Well, actually, let me see if I can get that to work.
But it would allow for being able to identify where samples were taken so that they can be cross-referenced with the tests that are taken to qualify them. And COA means Certificate of Analysis. It's basically the test that tells you what the THC content is. It's federally required for all cannabis.
The federal government has requirements? I thought it's all illegal by Uncle Sam.
Now, if it's cannabis, they require a COA. If it's over 0.3% THC, it's legally classified as marijuana, and it's only legal.
Oh, for hemp. Okay.
But with hemp, you have to take it, and if it's below 0.3% percentage weight by weight, then like total THC by weight, then it's considered hemp and legal. So that's the law. It's arbitrary in my opinion, but it's neither here nor there.
All right, so yeah, you can see the cuttings on the screen there. So it's so that gives you an indication of where they were taken. So
Sahil, so you're working on the website itself, right? I mean, have you made much by way of changes recently on the website? Or is it in active development, or is it the way it is right now?
So the recent active development was shifting from Cosmos to Firebase, and metric integrations like getting the POC done. Those were the two recent integrations, and then we also worked on dairy portal. So
The what portal?
there's a dairy 360.
Oh, the
portal.
Dairy 360 portal. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a separate web front end for that too.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. Okay, but the Dairy 360 there, I mean, that just displays like a bunch of prices from the USDA. So you wrote a you wrote a web app to do that?
Yep.
Okay, so you took the APIs from the USDA and basically re-implemented that whole thing, right?
No.
Exactly.
Actually, okay. So we also have creation of a co-op also. I think you have not seen that. I can demo it to you. So we can create a co-op. Co-op is a place where dairy farmers bring the milk. I think you already know it. So we created a co-op. We can enroll a farmer to a co-op, and we also have a discussion board where co-ops can send messages to the farmers. So we've done all that on the website, on the app also. So the app
Yep.
you have seen is the older version actually. I have the latest version actually. What you've seen is the older version. So, I mean, we can demo it quickly if you want to see that.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
so I'll just spin up the dashboard.
Yeah, sure.
What is email compliance documents?
Okay. So, what happens here is, I think we just showed you a compliance document like a couple of days ago, which has the stage names. Sahil has the updated compliance. Sahil, you put a compliance document on Slack. Can you just show that?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. This is how the compliance document will look like. This is still in development. There's a older one which is a little bit implemented, but this is what we want to implement now.
Yeah, it's looking very good. It's looking beautiful. I like it.
Okay, go down. Road stage info.
So this is just dummy data. This is all dummy data. I mean, it's just for label, just for information purpose. It may not even actually represent what's there in the database. We will move this. So this is just something that designer has, given us.
Okay.
But it's not actual representation of any properties in the database. We will be modifying all this, but this is like a layout that he prepared so that if, let's say, tomorrow someone implements a stage without any photos, it doesn't create any issues like blank spaces or empty spaces. It still looks good. And if there are more than 5 photos, it will span horizontally below, not chipping off any stages or not creating any issues with other sections. So that is how this new design is.
Okay. All right, so
Right.
this is good.